All right. Welcome, everybody, to AmberStreet.com live show, July 2nd, 2018. And I'm here with Daniel of Daniel Star Trek, Daniel Bertizon.
Yep.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Anyway, so you wanted to talk to me about Star Trek.
Hi. Yeah. But first of all, I want to say, hey, happy Canada Day, everyone. It's July 2nd, 2018. Tuesday, July 2nd, 20. Is it Tuesday? I'm not sure. 1 second. Hold on. No, wait. Is it?
Today is
It's Monday, July 2nd, 2016. About 5:11 a.m. Oh, p.m. here.
But in a parallel universe, it could be Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. It could be. So, yeah, and it's great. Canada Day is great. And also, yeah, we have so much news here. We have, first of all, the Star Trek news. Apparently, Alex Kurtzman is CBS signed Alex Kurtzman to a 5-year deal. And we're going to get a whole bunch of Star Trek TV series from this. We're going to get a series with Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard. And this is probably the limited live action TV series because Patrick Stewart doesn't want to probably come back full time because he's a big movie actor right now.
Well, he's semi-retired. He's already retired the character of Professor Xavier, and he's up in his late 70s now, so he's getting up in age. So I assume he wants to retire. He's already made his millions, but it's nice. I had heard about that he had been in talks to return to Star Trek, at least for a limited role as Captain Picard. I mean, people want to see a sequel to Star Trek Nemesis. I think people are tired with the prequels, and a lot of fans have been turned off with Star Trek Discovery and turned to shows like Orville, which has a lot of the original producers and some of the original cast from like Next Generation. But yeah, I think it'd be good. I mean, Captain Picard in a nursing home, and he's struggling to get better with maybe Borg nanoprobes, and with the Borg nanoprobes, maybe he can get off the toilet, and then with the help of Commander Data, maybe he can help tweak the design of the transporter toilet. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really good. So yeah, we're gonna get a live action. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be like after Voyager or Nemesis. This is great. It's probably gonna be a send off to the Next Generation crew. And
yeah, they never really did a proper goodbye. I mean, even Brent Spiner, who had co-wrote the script for Star Trek Nemesis, said that he felt like there at least needed to be one more Next Generation movie to finally say goodbye to the cast and crew. But there never was, because Nemesis unfortunately bombed at the box office. But maybe we'll get this in this limited series. I think that'll be really cool. I mean, because most Star Trek fans, they're tired of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek and all that jazz that goes with it. They want something, Captain Picard in Next Generation is still the most popular Star Trek TV show of all time. And people want to see what happened to those characters. And if you just do a proper send-off to Next Generation cast and crew, even if it's a short mini-series, that would be great. That would really be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it would be, yeah. So, and I think it's going to be canon. Of course it's going to be canon, right? So, yeah, that's good too. And then the next one, we're going to get a live action series of Starfleet Academy. And I'm like, oh my God, do I have to see Starfleet Academy? I don't want to see that. It sounds so bad.
No, I think it could be good. It's an aspect of Star Trek that had never been covered before. They had a few episodes of Next Generation where they had like Wesley Crusher and Star Trek Academy. But basically, they never had a full series based on it. I mean, it could be good or bad depending on how well written. We just want to, Star Trek fans like us, we just want a good story. We don't want the crap movies that J.J. Abrams did, which is kind of disrespectful to the core of the character Spock, in my opinion. Um, you know, and I mean, I know Leonard Nimoy gave his blessing to Zachary Quinto, who played the new Spock, but it's still crap. And I think most people are tired of it. And, you know, Star Trek Beyond bombed at the box office, or didn't do as well as expected. It didn't exactly lose money, but I think that movie broke even. If you combine marketing costs with gross, I mean, Star Trek Beyond grossed less money than the Han Solo film, and they're calling that a bomb. So, although Han Solo, with all the reshoots, the production cost of that movie went up to 250 million, and then you had marketing costs, which they said was another 200 million, which is why it lost money. They spent way too much money making it. If they had spent less money making it, it would have been fine. But I diverge. We're focusing on Star Trek. Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, like you know what, they're firing. I think that Kathleen Kennedy is out because they blame her for Solo because she made all the decisions. So she's out in September.
I hope so, because she has done a mess with The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was I would say, the second worst Star Wars film of all time. The worst being the Star Wars Holiday Special from 1978, which is no longer canon anymore, but it was a close second, and because it makes a mockery of the character Luke Skywalker. And even Mark Hamill said that the character, it was contrary to his character, and he fundamentally disagreed with Rian Johnson. And Rian Johnson's on my crap list of worst directors. But yeah,
he is.
He's on my shit list, but he's also on my crap list. Because, you know, you crap on your shit, and then you shit on your crap, and then you get a brown murky substance that resembles The Last Jedi. But yeah, I mean, I liked Rogue One because they were trying to go really they were trying to go really retro with Rogue One, but The Last Jedi to me even ruins The Force Awakens. Like, I don't even like The Force Awakens anymore. I mean, I thought The Force Awakens was entertaining when it came out, but I thought it was largely a remake of A New Hope. And I was like, well, maybe at least they were laying the groundwork to new characters that could be interesting. No. Rian Johnson threw all that in the toilet. Rey is a nobody. Kylo Ren's now the Emperor, although he seems like an emo bitch Sith Lord to me. He just, I don't know, I can't stand Kylo Ren. I don't like Rey. Finn is really goofy character. I don't know. It just didn't. Princess Leia in outer space. She did like the Superman move in outer space, and it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. But
yeah. Also, you know, for Episode 9, they say J.J. Abrams will subvert expectations. What is that? Yeah. So yeah, he'll subvert expectations, and I think he'll. Well, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, because with the last movie being so terrible, expectations are low for Star Wars Episode 9. I mean, they're very low, and a lot of people are saying that the reason why Han Solo bombed, and it's the first live-action Star Wars movie to bomb, or it's the first Star Wars movie in general to bomb, is because that was a fan reaction to The Last Jedi. Because if you look at Rotten Tomatoes score, it got like I don't know, like under 50%. I mean, The Last Jedi rates lower, has a lower audience score than the prequels, and a lot of people hated the prequels. I don't hate the prequels. I'll say something even more controversial. Bring back George Lucas. Let George Lucas get hired by Disney to direct the movies, and he's still alive. He's not sick. He can come back to directing Star Wars. But they don't want to do that because they feel like they made a $4 billion investment and they want to do their own thing.
You know,
go ahead.
I think they already made their money back because, like, look, they made $2 billion with The Force Awakens. They made $1 billion with Rogue One. They made $2 billion with The Last Jedi. So that's 2, 3, 4. They made $4 billion back.
Yeah, but they just lost. They lost $80 million on this new movie, the Solo Star Wars story, and so now they're back in the red again, but only slightly. So they're going to probably be uber paranoid. I know they canceled all the anthology films because
Oh
of
yeah.
it.
And now
So,
Obi-Wan, yeah, they canceled Obi-Wan. So now Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, they're saying he's going to appear in episode 9.
I don't know how. I mean, maybe as a Force ghost.
Yeah. Or maybe as a clone, because they're doing something with clones.
I've lost interest in Star Wars because they've totally ruined it. I liked episodes 1 through 6. I liked Rogue One, but other than that, I don't like the new Disney Star Wars. It's just terrible to me.
Well, would you give the Jon Favreau live action series a chance? Because Jon Favreau did Iron Man, and that was a good movie.
Well, he didn't do Iron Man 3. That's right. He only did the first 2 Iron Man movies. They made him step down as director from Iron Man 3 for some reason. But yeah, he didn't do a very good job with Iron Man 2. Jon Favreau is a mixed bag. He did a very good job with Iron Man 1. He did not do a very good job with Iron Man 2 because Iron Man 2, I didn't like how they combined Titanium Man with Whiplash. It just that was, I don't know. Mickey Rourke is Whiplash. I mean, he was okay. He was a little bit cartoonish, but I like the way they handles Tony Stark and his new technology. Like he had a suitcase that was just like something out of the comic. There were a lot of good things about Iron Man 2, but I was really disappointed with the way they portrayed the villain. You got to have a good villain. If you're going to have a good superhero flick, you need to have a good villain to complement the superhero. And you got to have a good story. You can't just have special effects. And that's the problem with Iron Man 3. But Favreau, even though he starred in it as Happy Hogan, he didn't direct that one for some reason. They demoted him. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, he's a mixed bag as a director. He sometimes does good, sometimes he does bad.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll wait and see. Just want a good story, damn it. Want a good story.
So yeah, it's just but he has a lot of he was have you seen the Clone Wars? He was a Mandalorian. Jon Favreau was
the Clone Wars movie or the Clone Wars
TV series. He was a Mandalorian. I think he was pre-Vizsla. Do you remember pre-Vizsla? He was the guy with the dark. I think he was the guy with the dark lightsaber.
I don't remember. There were so many obscure characters in that.
And also, he played that little spider monkey in Solo, a Star Wars story. The spider monkey, And then, like when he died, I thought it was very sad. He got shot in the back by a blaster, and then he just died. And I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, so this was in the TV series. I haven't seen every episode of Clone Wars. There were some episodes that I missed, but I don't remember that one. But yeah, Clone Wars was a good TV series. Rebels was okay. I was largely disappointed by Rebels. Rebels was good and it was entertaining, and they had some really good episodes before they canceled it after the 4th season. But Rebels wasn't as good as Clone Wars. Clone Wars had you felt for some of the clone troopers, and they killed off so many clone trooper characters. Like they introduced you to some of the clone troopers, and they killed them off. There's a really good video where somebody on YouTube edited it together, like top 5 clone trooper deaths, and you really feel for those clone troopers. Like they're standing their ground, they're fighting to the death, and I really think
click fix issues to resolve these problems.
Shit, it's pop up. Sorry.
Okay, dude, you need to get some anti-malware. You told me about your pop-ups. Apparently, Daniel's computer is alive. It's self-aware. No, but only in adverts.
Skynet took over my computer.
Skynet took over with adverts, and he wants to sell you a new piece of cheese. But yeah, I mean, anyway, damn, your advertisement distracted me. I lost the gist of my train of thought. But yeah, Rebels was it had really good episodes, but most of it was just felt like filler episodes. and it wasn't as good as it could have been, and but it was still good. It still felt like Star Wars, and Dave Filoni. Some people were saying that he should run Star Wars at LucasArts, and I heard that Dave Filoni turned it down. I don't know why he would turn that down. He should take over. He was hand appointed by George Lucas to do the animated series, so why can't he take over all of Star Wars? He knows the canon. He knows the material. He did a okay job with Rebels. He did a really good job with Clone Wars. So why not?
Yeah. So
anything else interesting that you want to talk about, Dane?
Yeah. So anyways, like, okay, this new live action Star Wars TV series, they say it's going to take place like 3 years after Return of the Jedi. So like, they say it's going to be 7 years after the Battle of Yavin, which is in A New Hope. So it's 7 years after the Battle of Yavin, and that's 3 years after, and 3 years after Return of the Jedi. So I'm really excited for this. I'm like, oh my god, this is so much fun! Finally, we get to explore this post-Jedi galaxy. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is another prequel. I'm like, not yes and no. It's a prequel to Episode 7 and 8 and 9, but it's a sequel to everything else. That's how you got to think about it. It's a sequel to everything else.
I don't like what they're doing with Star Wars, so I'm not optimistic. But I'm laughing because I just realized your handle on here is Daniel's Hot. That's funny.
Oh yeah. It was supposed to be Daniel's Hot Topics, but for some reason it didn't record the topics. It just
well, you have a limited space for text, so it is what it is. That's why I like Star Raising, because it kind of fits together as a squishy word. It squishes together and fits in really tight. Anyway.
So yeah, they say this live action series is not going to be it's not going to have like, it's going to probably have some characters from the original trilogy in there, but like not much. I don't know if Mark Hamill will be able to go in there, because he said Episode 9 would be the last paycheck, so probably the last time he'll go on. They could bring him on as a cameo in the TV series, even though it takes place before Episode 7, 8, 9. They could do something.
Well, I mean, maybe they could introduce Luke Skywalker's love affair with milking alien tits.
Oh, that was bad. That was just really.
I mean, somebody made a meme out of sour face Luke, but I mean, it's pretty funny meme. Like they took that one scene where he swings around the mountain with a rope, and he's like, there's the alien. I wish it was like a parody, but it was the actual canon in the movie. It was so bad. Alien tits just hanging off the mountainside, and he swings down and he sucks off one of them, and then he makes like this sour face, like it tasted bad. And it's like, what the point was? Ryan Johnson, what were you thinking? This is so dumb. I mean, and then it's like, well, I just came here to die. That was the other thing. They had led up to the thing, like there had been rumors that Luke Skywalker maybe went to the Jedi Temple, the first Jedi Temple, so that he could discover like the balance within the Force. No, Ryan Johnson threw all that away, and it was like, oh, he just went there to die, which makes no sense. So why would you go into hiding? And he creates plot holes that doesn't need to, where there doesn't need to be any. Why would you leave secret plans with R2-D2 and BB-8 and a map to where you live when you were disillusioned with the Force and you stopped using the Force and you went there to die? Why not just kill yourself? I mean, why go through all that trouble of drinking, green milk from an alien tit for that long, and apparently it doesn't taste that good? It was just bad. It's terrible. And I'm not the only one. The majority of Star Wars fans really hated that film. And they say that Ryan Johnson's still greenlit for his new trilogy. I hope not. I hope this kicks him out. Because he has to take partial blame. Because the Han Solo film was actually better than The Last Jedi. it was, you know, I would say the Han Solo film is like a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't. I know you hated it, but I thought the Darth Maul cameo kind of made it good.
Yeah, that was the only good thing.
You know, I liked the character of Kira. I just didn't like the actor playing Han Solo, but I didn't like that they introduced so many throwaway characters that, you know, they introduced this character and they seemed like a badass, and then they die the next scene. So it's like, why even bother? And I guess they're trying to show that anybody could die in this, but it seems pointless. You introduce a character, and then like maybe 2 scenes later they die, like only 1/3 of the way into the movie. But I mean, but I still thought it was an entertaining film, and I still thought Han Solo was a better movie. Solo, a Star Wars story, was a better movie than The Last Jedi. But it did worse because I think this is the fan reaction. It's only 5 months released after The Last Jedi, and it was the fan protests. They were like, we're not going to put up with this crap, Disney. We're tired of this crap.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like nobody asked for a Solo movie. That's the thing. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wanted it. We just want to move forward with a good story. We just don't.
Well, you have to admit that Han Solo is one of the more popular characters. It's like Han Solo, Boba Fett, Yoda. Those are like the 3 most popular characters from Star Wars. I know a lot of people love that Yoda was in it, but they went back to puppet Yoda, and I don't know the way. I don't know who did the puppeteering, but I think Frank Oz did the voice, but just the puppeteering of Yoda in The Last Jedi was terrible. I thought Yoda looked really stiff. He looked really fake. I mean, they did a really good job with the puppeteering in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. He looked real. And then I liked the CGI Yoda in the prequels because they'd gotten good enough with CGI that he looked real, and he had like facial expressions, and he could jump through the air. And, you know, you got to see why Yoda was a badass. But the prequels, people are just, you know, the people who hate on the prequels, but on the Rotten Tomatoes, all of the prequels get above 50%. You know, they're like, you know, most of them are like, I think in the 60s. So most people like the prequels, contrary to the few outspoken fans that hated them. The prequels had really good metaphors. You had a clone trooper army who were genetically manipulated not to think for themselves, fighting a droid army. They're fighting a droid army who are constructed and programmed not to think for themselves. So it was a very subtle anti-war message. George Lucas himself said that the prequel trilogy was a metaphor for like the Vietnam War and Nixon. And I would believe it. And then, like, you know, you had Emperor Palpatine. Before he became emperor, he was a senator, and Palpatine was playing the war from both sides. He was providing logistics and support for the Confederacy of Independent Systems, and providing logistical support for the Republic. And so, you know, somebody's calling me, but I'm not going to answer because I'm doing my live show. Damn it! You can call me later. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, so you had a really good dichotomy there, and you know, at the beginning of episode 2, the clone troopers are the protagonists and the heroes. And then by the end of episode 3, they are the villains. And so I like that dichotomy, and it's very, very clever script writing by George Lucas. And yes, I'm going to say that about the prequels. I don't give a damn about any of you who hate the prequels. The prequels are good. You know, you want to see bad movies, watch Star Wars Holiday Special. That was a bad movie. It wasn't even produced by Lucas. But or watch Last Jedi. But I mean, it was just there was just a lot of really good things. I like that, you know, the hero becomes the villain with Darth Vader, and you get to see why Anakin Skywalker turned to the dark side, because he loved Padme so much. He was willing to do anything. He was willing to murder. He was willing to betray. everything that he stood for, even being a Jedi, just to try to save her life. And then in the end, he ended up leading to her death anyway. Events from him fighting with Obi-Wan Kenobi led to her death. And they say that she died of heartbreak, but there's a theory that Palpatine actually used his Sith powers to rob her life force from her.
Yeah.
So that Vader would turn to the dark side. But yeah, so I mean, it was. I mean, the prequels were genius. I mean, yes, they had some flaws, but I mean, they weren't bad. They were really, really great. And you know, in my opinion, Revenge of the Sith is up there. I mean, I would say Revenge of the Sith is like my second favorite Star Wars film. My favorite being Empire Strikes Back, and then Revenge of the Sith is a close second. And then after that, I would place the original Star Wars, then Return of the Jedi, and then Attack of the Clones, and then I would say The Phantom Menace, and then after that, I would say Rogue One. I liked Rogue One, but in further evaluation, I rank it a little bit lower. And then after Rogue One, I would say probably the next best Star Wars film would be Clone Wars. Yes, I'm going to include that in my ranking because a lot of people don't include that, but that was a movie released in 2008. Yes, it was an animated Star Wars movie, but it was still pretty good. And then after Clone Wars, I would rank it Solo, a Star Wars story. And then after Solo, a Star Wars story, I would say The Force Awakens. And then after Force Awakens, I would say The Last Jedi, and then which was a terrible film. And then after Last Jedi, I would rank Star Wars Holiday Special as the worst Star Wars film. But yeah, really bad. A good example of how special effects alone do not make a good film. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, they say Episode 9 is going to incorporate prequel trilogy continuity. It's going to have a lot of prequel trilogy continuity, and they're going to tie all 9 movies together, which is cool. And they say we might see.
I just want a good story that pays respect to the original characters.
Absolutely, and also, like they say, Kylo Ren is going to go to Naboo, and he's going to visit the grave of Padme Amidala because he wants to know more about his grandmother. So I made a joke on a channel. I said maybe Queen Amidala turns into a zombie, and we see Kylo Ren versus Zombie Amidala.
Well, I have a theory that Kylo Ren ate the ashes of Darth Vader.
Yeah,
because he needed those midichlorians because Han Solo, his daddy, didn't have any force powers.
Yeah,
and Princess Leia had very limited force powers.
Oh yeah, think about it.
They both came from the Anakin Skywalker line, and it had already been established in Episode 1, Phantom Menace. They had midichlorians, and so his midichlorians would be diluted. So how can, if you're a dark side force user like Kylo Ren, how can you make up in the deficit of midichlorians? Well, you make up for it by doing cannibalism. You devour the body of Darth Vader, you consume his ashes, and you get the midichlorians back.
Yeah, that could work.
It's still not as good as Mary Sue midichlorians, because the Mary Sue midichlorians of Rey trump all, because she's like, she never flew a spaceship before. She can pilot the first time. She never even was familiar with the Millennium Falcon. She can fix it the first time. She never trained with a lightsaber. She kicks ass with a dark side user who had heavy training the first time. She's perfect, and so is BB-8. They should make an anthology film called BB-8, Rey and BB-8, Mary Sue, a Star Wars story, and then we'll be good to go. And then they can bomb Star Wars and give it back to George Lucas.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's a Mary Sue. Yeah, she is a Mary Sue. And if you didn't like Rey in The Force Awakens because she was too powerful, and if you didn't like and in Jedi she became more powerful, you're not going to like her in Episode 9 because this is 5 years later, and she's going to be super powerful in Episode 9. Because remember,
well, do you know where the term Mary Sue came from?
Yeah, the Star Trek thing.
Well, it was a Star Trek fan magazine from the 1970s. And it was a short story which has become notorious and legend. And it was like the adventures of Ensign Mary Sue. And she was an ensign on the Enterprise. And it was just self-serving fan fiction. And she was like young and hot and pretty and blonde. And Kirk had a crush on her. And Spock respected her intellect. And she saves the USS Enterprise. And she's good at communication. She's good at engineering. She's good at science. She's good at commanding the starship. And then eventually she gets promoted to captain of the starship by the end of the story. And it was a very short fan fiction, but it has since become notorious for describing a flawed written character, and flawed in the sense that there is no challenge to the character because the character is perfect in every aspect. Hence, a Mary Sue, or if it's a male character, a Gary Stu, or Gary Sue, Mary Sue, whatever. But I would say BB-8's a Mary Sue, and so is Rey. But yeah, and that's largely my problem. One of many problems I have with the Disney sequel trilogy. But yeah, go ahead, Daniel. Anything else interesting on news?
And they're like saying, okay, you know what? Like, okay, as powerful as Rey will be, because remember she took the Jedi texts at the end of Episode 8, and so she's going to be training and reading them for the next 5 years. So you can imagine how powerful she's going to be in Episode 9. Kylo Ren is going to be even more powerful than Rey will be because he's going to be training probably more. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm just like, oh, Kylo Ren's going to be even more powerful? So how powerful is he going to be? Like, is he going to be the most powerful Force user ever? Like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Nothing could challenge the power of a Mary Sue Force user.
Or a Gary Sue because he's a guy.
Well, you could, just like Marilyn Manson's got a girl's name, but he's still Marilyn Manson. You could be,
Marilyn Manson.
You could be a male Mary Sue.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about context.
So yeah, it's really exciting, and then we're gonna get the live action TV series, and you know what? They say they're gonna start filming it this fall. This fall they're gonna start filming it because, someone took a picture, and they showed someone showed a picture, and they showed like apparently Jon Favreau standing next to a suit of Mandalorian armor. So it's possible Boba Fett could make an appearance, or maybe he could be the main character of this new series.
Well, one could hope. Boba Fett is one of the most popular characters of Star Wars. I mean, he's up there with Yoda and Han Solo. He's probably even more popular than Han Solo, come to think of it. But he's one of the most popular characters of Star Wars because he looks so cool and he seems like a badass, but he's very, very underutilized. And as a character, and it's a shame that they don't utilize him more. And but yeah, so one could hope for a good story that includes Boba Fett. And
yeah, because they canceled all the anthology movies because Solo did so badly. It bombed so hard. They got rid of all the anthology movies. So I say, why not bring Boba Fett into the TV series? Like, let's see him escape the Sarlacc pit. And actually, yeah, he escapes the Sarlacc pit.
Boba Fett and the Adventures of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
Jar Jar Binks could be. He's been outcasted, so he could be an assistant to Boba Fett. Jar Jar Binks got nowhere else to go but with Boba Fett.
Did you hear what happened to him?
Or maybe Jar Jar Binks, Boba Fett died, and Jar Jar Binks finds the armor of Boba Fett, and he's putting on the armor, and you think it's Boba Fett, but it's really Jar Jar Binks.
That could work.
I would pay to see that.
But if you read the Aftermath novel, Jar Jar Binks is not doing so well now. These are canon, by the way. He's not doing so well. They threw him out he had a nice house on Naboo, but they threw him out, and now he's poor. He's on the streets doing circus acts and shit. And I'm like, and they all blame him for the Empire. Like, oh, it's all because of you. The Empire rose, and because he did give emergency powers to the Chancellor.
Yeah, I know. I do know. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. But yeah, who knows? Who can say for sure? So, anyway, go ahead.
Also, but you know what? So yeah, he could come into the live action TV series. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be interesting. A nice connection to the prequels. And so yeah, Boba Fett. I hope Ewan McGregor comes in, or what about Liam Neeson? That would be great to see Liam Neeson. He's a really good actor. Yeah. I mean, there's so many possibilities, and oh, the sky's the limit. Every day I'm looking for new information about this TV series. I'm so excited. And at first, you know what? I was kind of upset they didn't put the live action TV series next to Star Wars Resistance. You heard of Star Wars Resistance, right?
I have not. What
Star Wars Resistance. It's a new animated series. And I'm like,
okay.
It takes place like 7 years before. It takes place 7 years before Star Wars.
Again, I'm not optimistic because it's anything that has to do with the sequel trilogy of Disney is crap to me.
Yeah, but it does have Dave Filoni wrote it, and he's going to direct it.
Well, it could be good depending if it's a good story. If Dave Filoni wrote it and he's going to direct it, then so be it. I mean,
it doesn't take place. It doesn't take place like the two TV shows. The live action TV show takes place before the animated one. So how can they cross over? Unless they use the World Between Worlds, which I love the World Between Worlds.
It's a Star Wars mystery conspiracy theory, only available at Disney in stores soon.
I mean, did you like the World Between Worlds?
At a store near you, not Toys R Us, but someplace like a dollar store.
Yeah, Toys R Us is gone, unfortunately.
Toys R Us is gone. Long live the dollar store economy and all the crap people have to put up with because of it.
And Blockbuster. I hated when Blockbuster went out of business. I cried. I hated it. I love Blockbuster. I grew up in Blockbuster.
Well, anyway, so
also, yeah,
you've been having some internet trauma?
Yeah, a little bit.
Explain.
Oh, I had some internet drama. Like sometimes my computer, just kind of act up a little bit, and sometimes it just loads and loads and loads. It doesn't do anything, so I got to reset the damn thing, and it just sucks. But I'm online now, and which is good. And so yeah, yeah, it's the people behind the internet. They're doing something. Maybe they're upgrading the computer. Or maybe there's
how would they be upgrading your computer from the internet?
I don't know, but maybe they're doing something to the internet. I'm not sure, or maybe it's the New World Order. Maybe they're preparing for the New World Order. That's what all these interruptions are.
What? What's going on?
What are we gonna do when they come for us? The New World Order.
Well. What you do is you get a couple of wooden sticks, and you need to stock up on a large bag of marshmallows. You really only need like one bag, like enough for you and a friend, or maybe a couple of friends. And then you roast marshmallows when the Illuminati apocalypse happens. That's the only way to do it, because roasting marshmallows is fun, and there'll be a lot of flames. And you just you hold up, and you really only need one bag, because then once you're done eating that whole bag, your bones are roasted, and then you no longer can think anymore. So it's all over from there. And you also no longer need to eat, because toasty bones don't need food. But yeah, you might as well have fun while it lasts. So you might as well at least bake a few marshmallows. Roast them in the fires of the flame of the Illuminati apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
But
brought to us by our favorite presidents. Yeah, he's your favorite president too, right? Donald J. Trump is your favorite president?
Not my favorite president.
So
he's not the worst president, but he is down there. He's probably in the top 10 worst.
but who's the worst president?
Andrew Jackson comes to mind. The guy in the U.S. $20 bill, because under what he did was he kicked out all the Native American tribes from the Southeast to make way for European descended settlers or white settlers. And a lot of Native American tribes, including one in the Pensacola area, went extinct. And thousands of Native Americans died. And so it was basically blatant murder. So by military force, a lot of these Native American tribes had actually civilized and had farms and were living in houses and on their property. And they were removed by military force at gunpoint by U.S. troops and forced to march all the way from like Florida and Mississippi, Georgia, all the southeast southern. They had to march thousands of miles all the way up to Oklahoma, and it's called the Trail of Tears. So I would say Andrew Jackson is the worst president because he is a mass murderer, and that's not to be taken lightly. I'm dead serious with that. I'm not. I've been sarcastic and I've been with my canter and joking, but yeah. So if you want to, yeah. So Trump is bad, but he's not as bad as Andrew Jackson. I will say that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been proposals to remove Andrew Jackson off the $20 bill, and I hope they do one day. Because I don't like the bastard, even though he's been dead. He is a mass murderer. But anyway,
also, you know what? Okay, have you heard of they're filming the new Terminator movie?
I thought they weren't going to. I thought they canceled it because Terminator Genesis bombed.
Oh wait, no, but James Cameron is back.
Is he going to continue on with as if nothing happened after Terminator 2?
Yeah, he's gonna erase Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis.
Okay, is he going to bring back Arnold?
Yeah, but this time Arnold is not going to be the Terminator. He's going to be the guy that the Terminator took the face from.
Okay.
But you know what? Okay, James Cameron says something really interesting here. Okay, they're filming it right now actually, and he says something interesting. He says, okay, first of all, people say, oh, they erase my continuity here. Well, see, I say there are many parallel realities being created all the time. We will never see or know what really happened in the original timeline, but it still exists. You know, they just create new timelines every time they go back in time. So James Cameron says here, Cameron has confirmed that Terminator 6 will ignore every sequel except for Terminator 1 and 2. Okay.
Well, that makes sense because Cameron produced Terminators 1 and 2 and everything else he didn't do. And a lot of people hated Terminator 3. A lot of people hated Terminator Salvation. Terminator Salvation was kind of mediocre. That was the Christian Bale Terminator movie where Christian Bale was the main antagonist or main protagonist. Sorry, but I mean, Terminator Genesis was entertaining. It was good. It wasn't the best film, but I mean, it was good. But yeah, it makes sense because he's James Cameron. So yeah.
So yeah, he says, okay, so Cameron confirms that Terminator 6 will ignore every sequel except for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This is a continuation. So he says, this is a continuation of the story from Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. And we're pretending the other films were a bad dream or an alternate timeline, which is permissible in our multiverse, he explained. So he admits that Terminator has a multiverse. Well, of course, when you have time travel, you do have the multiverse because, you know, you are technically going to different timelines all the time. So, yeah. Everybody just, like, think of it like it's a different time. These are different timelines that branch off from the original. So, yeah. You know, it's pretty interesting, you know. And now multiverse theory is widely accepted among the general population. Oh, it's a different universe or a different timeline. And yeah, just really. But you know what? Going through that time machine, that time machine, wouldn't that give you cancer? Because that would emit a lot of radioactivity.
What kind of radioactivity?
Well, wouldn't it generate a lot of radioactivity? Wouldn't it like, wouldn't you be affected, or, yeah, I think so.
Well, radiation, radio waves are radiation. There's radiation that is in low doses your body can tolerate, and radiation like X-rays at high doses that you can't tolerate. Like frequencies of light, everything. The word radiate, to originate from, to radiate from, to originate from. Not all radiation is bad. Some radiation can be bad, and some radiation is harmless.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have too much radiation, like you can be exposed to X-rays a little bit, but if you were exposed to too much, yeah, it can cause radiation sickness, radiation burns.
Mm-hmm.
But
so yeah, but you like Genesis,
but
right?
I think. Are you talking about temporal radiation, a theoretical substance based on theoretical physics? Temporal radiation. Is that what you're talking about, Daniel?
Yeah, I heard that. Like, I heard from many time traveler stories. I listen to a lot of these things. I do believe that something could have happened to them. I do believe that the government has worked with certain time travel technology.
There's no evidence to support that. There is no evidence whatsoever. I stick to critical thinking and skeptical thinking and scientific method. So no evidence to support that. There's a lot of neat internet stories with no proof of anything whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. But it could be real. I think. That's just what I think.
Well, anything could be real, but maybe it's real in a parallel universe. But
so yeah,
no evidence that it's real in this universe.
So yeah, I'm just saying. I heard that time travel does.
It's possible. It's possible. Time travel is possible, but you would need you need something to drive an engine. Black holes are known to create a warp in space time, and if you had like a micro singularity or a microscopic black hole, then you could create a warp in space time, and you would need magnetic containment. You would need a lot of power, and it would be very complicated. I know how to build a time machine in theory, but where are you going to get the singularities? And then if you're going to try to generate the singularities artificially, how are you going to generate that much power? It probably to build a time machine would require more power than what is generated on planet Earth. And so with modern technology, it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
So
maybe I'm really a time traveler, and I'm pulling your leg, and I'm making it sound like it's fictitious, but maybe I'm from a parallel 1890, and I time traveled to the future, but it wasn't my future; it was a parallel future. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah,
Anyway, so any last thoughts? I think I'm going to wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah. So, have you seen anything? Have you seen anything like what's it called? Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom.
I have not. I'm just not into the Jurassic Park universe.
Yeah,
like some people are.
It was good. It was good back in the '90s, but now I don't know.
I think after the first movie, I lost interest, and then I realized that DNA has a half-life of 10,000 years, which means even under perfect condition, like say if you had dinosaur teeth, and it's buried in the sand, and the teeth are really well sealed, so the DNA can't leak or degrade as fast. Even under the best conditions, DNA degrades, and so after 10,000 years, half of it is gone. It's broken down into individual atoms. The molecular structure is completely broken down, and then after 66 million years, there's no DNA left. Like they have found like structures like veins. You know, like there's been some dinosaur fossils have preserved the veins and actually looked at the vein structures of dinosaurs. But there's no DNA left, so it would not be possible to clone dinosaurs like in Jurassic Park. Now, what you could do through genetic engineering is you could engineer a new species of animal that looks like a dinosaur. But they don't explain it like that. And so because I know the science, it kind of irks me a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a critical thinker and I can't just enjoy the laugh. But I don't know. It bothers me because I know that there's no way, unless you had a time machine, to clone a dinosaur. There's just no way.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of, when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of cool that they got something from a little you know.
I mean, like, it would be possible to clone a mammoth. You know why it would be possible to clone a mammoth and not a dinosaur, Daniel?
Because the hair?
No, think about it. 10,000 years ago, mammoths went extinct. That means that there's still some viable mammoth DNA around. And there's a living relative of mammoths, the elephant. They were saying what they could do is if they could find... They found mummified mammoths before that were frozen in Siberia. And so you can take the DNA out of a mummified mammoth, reconstruct the DNA, you get an elephant egg, you remove the DNA, you put in mammoth DNA, and then you have to have a surrogate elephant mom to be able to carry the cloned baby. And then you clone the mammoth. It is technologically possible to bring mammoths back to life. But they wouldn't be viable because there wouldn't be enough genetic diversity and there wouldn't be enough individuals cloned. And, you know, you would need at least several hundred individuals to have enough genetic diversity for the mammoths to survive. If you had just a cloning of one, it would be a neat nostalgia. You get to see what mammoth behavior was like instinctually. You know, but you would just have that one mammoth, and maybe you could have a hybrid between a mammoth and an elephant, and it would be a slightly hairy elephant. I wish they would do that. People should not fear cloning. It's just another way of reproduction. That's the way I look at it. I would love to clone myself, but unfortunately, human cloning is illegal in the United States. Let's correct that, people. But anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up. Do you have any last words before I wrap up the show, the AmberStreet.com show for July 2nd, 2018? Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, happy Canada Day. Yay, we're 151 years old today, you know, which is great. And yeah, I can't wait for the live action Star Wars TV series and episode 9. Episode 9 is going to start filming in 2 weeks, by the way. Yay!
Meh. I'm not that optimistic about it.
Would you sleep with Rey?
No, because she scares me. Her Mary Sue Force powers scare me away. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. All right, thanks a lot, guys. This is the AmberStreet.com show for July 2nd, 2018. You have a nice day, and I will see you 25 billion years of will.
Bye.